And good Saturday afternoon, everybody. Joe DeGregorio, singer forecaster, Southwest Louisiana weather, checking in with you on this kind of dreary day. And right now, we're taking a look at current radar and surface analysis here. You can see warm front, stationary front, situated just off the coast and through the upper Gulf and across the Central Florida Panhandle there, and then see another front up here, kind of locked up to the north, uh, to the Oklahoma, Arkansas, Tennessee area, and then on up to the northeast. And um, extent of the freezing precip, in this case snowfall, is well confined up through Kansas, Missouri, Iowa, Illinois, and that's going to be about it for the snowfall at this point. You got some up here in the Pacific Northwest and upper Northwest there, in Montana, Idaho, and over in the Washington state there. So uh, that's pretty much it. And we'll take a zoom in here, and you can see still feel a few lingering showers here across the state at this hour, and that's going to continue. And this little front here is going to lift north a little bit, and uh, that should keep showers in the forecast most of the day before we finally get it out of here late tonight. So uh, I'll actually put this into motion here for you and let the frames load up real quick here. You see general motion is off to the northeast there. So uh, right now, southwest Louisiana is all clear. It could be some very, very light misting precip that's falling, uh, almost like a fog mist, but other than that, not going to be much out there for us right now. So we'll keep an eye on that on radar. But again, no severe weather is expected for the next 7 days. So uh, I mentioned yesterday that the front coming through uh, late this weekend, this coming weekend, could bring us some potentially uh, strong thunderstorms, but below severe threshold. So uh, that still remains the case at this point. But other than that, not looking for anything much in terms of severe weather. What I'll do here is I'll take a look at your satellite imagery here, and this is your visible satellite. There you can see uh, most of the southeast and central part of the United States is under some sort of cloud covering. You got some low clouds here uh, over in the desert southwest. So a lot of cloud cover out there, but at this point, um, nothing doing. We'll take a look at water vapor here, the lower levels here. You can see still a lot of dry air at the lower levels, and then we'll step it up and we'll take a look at the high levels here. So uh, still some dry air in play here, and uh, not a whole lot of potential for high base. Surface based convection. So we'll take a look at real quick here, uh, infrared satellite, and you can see cloud tops are generally low. Uh, that's indicative of non-thunderstorm activity. So once you start to see the lower cloud tops, the higher cloud tops, colder, if you will, um, you start getting up in there uh, into these purples and whites and blacks, and then the reds. Uh, that's when you start to see uh, convective development potential there. So right now everything's fairly tranquil. Um, that's pretty much going to be it on that note. So let's get off of the satellite imagery here. We'll go back to our radar here, and we'll zoom back in, and it's currently 1:32 p.m. as I'm recording this, and so it's probably going to be close to 2 o'clock before this shows up on YouTube. But um, at the surface, temperatures across the region right now generally in the 50s south and 40s uh, from a point north of Alexandria, and you can see that little pocket of 40s in there. So pretty mild at this point. I mean, it's chilly. It feels to me it feels great outside. I think at this point my blood is adapted, and anything above 70 degrees feels like 90 degrees to me. So, uh, to me that this is perfect temperature for me in the 50s. Um, this feels great. So we get rid of the clouds and the rain. Uh, that would be even better. And tomorrow's going to be mostly cloudy before we start clearing up, but uh, the rains will be gone. So once we get the clouds out of here, things will start to improve a bit, and then we have our next front coming in. So, excuse me. On to uh, what everyone's asking about and wanting to know about. Now, um, let's take a look at uh, what we've got right here. So, uh, courtesy of Pivotal Weather, um, I had to bring in the thing here. Let's see. Well, this is the one I want here. So let's slide this down a bit here. Basically, did this to make it a little more readable here for you guys. So we'll slide this down just a tad, and let's do that and that. So uh, we're still not getting the high-res GFS uh, data at this point, but um, and there's no ETA on when NSEP is going to get that data rolling back out. So I don't know what's happened with that. Uh, that's an issue, but uh, for the time being, we're back to the legacy GFS. Now, uh, what I will say is that the models are basically in flip-flop or windshield wiper mode, if you will, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And so I haven't looked at this latest data this afternoon, uh, so I'm going to be seeing it for the first time with you, and we'll see what it has to say as we move forward. Now, uh, one thing to note is that the models up to this point uh, have backed off on the significance of the cold air, and uh, little to no precip, or winter precip, I should say. So that's a good thing. And those of you looking for snow, I'll tell you right now, chances are near zero. Uh, However, going forward, uh, beyond 7 or 8 days, things get a little murky and uncertain. So, and that's always the case when you start dealing with long-range model outlooks. It's just too much uncertainty, too many variables at play, and uh, the science isn't perfect. And so, even within 3 days, science still isn't perfect, but you know, gives you a general idea. And if something significant, continues to pop up, then that allows for a heads up. So, without further ado, um, what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna swap over here. Let's look at the forecast loop here, and let me make sure I got the right time frame set up here. Okay, 12 Zulu, and uh, make sure you guys are viewing this here. Okay, so I have to adjust this each time uh, due to the website. So let's put this into motion here, and here's your time. Uh, Forecast hour 6, uh, and this is 6 hours from when the this particular run of the GFS came out. And so uh, let's move it forward here now, and we'll see what we see. So we're moving through Sunday now, and now we get into Monday, and you can see big nor'easter churning up the east coast there, and see another area of low pressure starting to slide down, and you see basically the demarcation line, so where the cold air is. So basically we got kind of a zonal flow. We don't see a big trough dipping down at this point, and which would, you know, be indicative of the cold air push. So let's continue this forward here, and we'll slide down here, and now we're in the Tuesday, and looks like uh, Monday night and a Tuesday morning could see a little something here along the coastal areas, mainly from New Orleans southward. Some uh, light precipitation, rainfall, and we'll continue this little show here, and you can start to see a trough dipping down here. Now it's going to pivot off to the northeast, pivot up and to the east northeast, and let's watch as that happens here. Uh, and there it goes. So at this point, we're looking in the Thursday now, 6 a.m. Thursday. You can see as that front comes through, uh, all the freezing rain and sleet, or frozen precipitation, if we will, stays well to the north of us, at least here on the GFS model, basically from the state line, Arkansas, Louisiana state line up to northern Mississippi and into Tennessee and Kentucky and West Virginia and Virginia. Um, so I actually spoken with my good friends up there in Virginia, where I went after the flood for a few months, and uh, they were sending me pictures, and I need to post those up at some point. But um, it was reminiscent of what I got to play in January 2018 up there. So, uh, or January 2017 rather. So about a month before I came back. So um, I miss it up there. It's beautiful. I miss the snow. Yes, I'm a snow Cajun, and that's spelled SNEAUX. And I hate this mouse over type thing. Uh, there we go. So anytime you hit that this gray bar here, wherever your mouse touches it, that's where it moves the forecast hour to. So uh, I have to send a message to Pivotal Weather and see if they can make it click only instead of mouse over. All right, let's move forward now. Beyond Thursday, and as you can see, as we get into late Thursday night, early Friday morning, uh, we still don't see that super cold air uh, encroaching down here, and we don't see any frozen precipitation. And then that moves off, and you can see the 540 line busting down here. So, we do have that cold air coming down, high pressure building in, a strong high pressure, and you have your low ejecting off to the northeast, getting ready to move through Canada. It's up to Buffalo at this point, Rochester, Buffalo area. So um, things looking good as far as any kind of frozen precip. Uh, Not happening at this point, at least on the GFS side. We're going to take a look at the euro as well and go through the motions with it when we finish this presentation and see what we'll see. And if it shows something, then that'll give you an indication, of the uh, discrepancies between the two. And until we get model to model, run to run consistency, uh, you know, just take it with a grain of salt at this point. We know the cold air is coming. How cold remains to be seen. As far as frozen precip, that's another question entirely. So let's move forward now. And we get into next Saturday, a week from today. We see that 540 line come through, so we've definitely got some freezing temperatures here. Uh, this would be 03 Zulu. That would be 9 p.m. Saturday. So we've already got the freezing air down here, um, and then it lifts back north. Uh, and then as we see this little short wave uh, crossing through Mexico here, we have our upper low here. Uh, this is where things become a little murky. We're getting this far out. Um, you know, that's where questions abound. And um, one thing I will say for the both models, GFS and the Euro, is that they keep pushing the timeline back for any kind of frozen precipitation. That's indicative to me that they really don't have a good handle. But you see the high pressure here, basically centered over Ohio at this point, and you see the isobars. And what this means is that we've got good southeasterly flow at this point. Return of moisture from the Gulf, so we've got moisture streaming in, and uh, let's advance this now. We're going to do single frame, and we'll see how this is going to play out now as we move forward. So the upper low looks like it basically cancels out and washes off the board, and we still have this little short wave down here over Mexico, and we'll continue once more, and you can see a week from this coming Tuesday, the following Tuesday on February the 16th. Now bear in mind, we're beyond 10 days out. We're just, you know, you see Arkansas, northeast Texas, and extreme northern Louisiana getting in on the freezing rain. And as this low intensifies here, coming across southeast Texas, you start to see some heavy precipitation, possibly some strong thunderstorm development. Now, we'll move that forward, and you see a squall line now developing, and you get looks like a little negative tilt to it. So, uh, with that said, correction, positive tilt. So, don't see any signs of uh, severe weather at this point. That is some heavy rainfall, but the frozen precipitation again stays well north of us, and that's going to eject uh, up the East Coast areas, East Coast states, and it kind of washes off the board. It weakens, and uh, then we start to see it redevelop, and there again another little nor'easter develops. So uh, doesn't appear to be that strong. It's only 1,000 millibars. So that's a that's a baby. Not seeing any sign of bombogenesis with it. So uh, you see something down around 985 millibars or lower, then that's big time nor'easter. But this one isn't bad. So they will have more snow to dig out of. Unfortunately for me, I'm stuck down here. So uh, we continue through, and we go through the entire time frame here, and you know now we're getting out February the 20th. So this is way out there in time. and you should basically take it with a grain of salt at this point. Um, you know, GFS is showing nada um, as far as winter precip. So even on Monday the 22nd of February, uh, you see the cold air coming in behind the front, behind the rain shield. So at this point, you know, again, no winter precipitation. So uh, let's go ahead and switch over to the euro now, and let's see what Mr. Euro says. So, and we'll take a look at temps as well. Um, Let me switch back to OBS, make sure that you're seeing this here. And what I'm also going to do now is, while I'm thinking about it, let's set this to regional, and we'll go here, and we'll slide this up here. Let me get you guys set up here. Okay, so this is much better here. So let me see if you get in the time frame. Yeah, you've got it all. Okay, so uh, let's run the euro and see what it has to say. We'll slow the loop speed down here and let it play out. Now we're getting a Tuesday of next week. Uh, Wednesday, start to see the rain develop with the front. And now, this would be noon on Thursday, this coming Thursday, with the euro. You can see up there in Missouri is the extent, farther south extent, or southerly extent of the freezing precip. So let's advance this a little more here. And you see clusters of thunderstorms or heavy, moderate to heavy rains developing. Uh, at this point, how severe? Uh, I'd have to take a look at the other parameters here, Cape values and lift and theta E advection and things like that. But uh, at this point, no severe is expected. So I hate this when it does that. There we go. So, and then Friday, uh, midnight, and we get 6 a.m. Friday. Basically, just some very, very light sprinkles in the area. But again, we see no frozen precipitation. So now we work into a week from today and start to see a little something there in central Texas. But that's about it. Um, Again, the euro only goes out 240 hours versus the GFS where it goes out 384 hours. So, uh, we can't see as far out what the euro as the GFS does, but and basically there's good reason for that. Anything beyond that is pretty much unreliable. So then we get our a week from this coming Monday on the 15th, day after Valentine's Day. We see this next frontal system coming in, and you see pretty potent winter storm coming across Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Missouri there. But for us, nada. So at that point, you know, we're in flip-flop mode, and the models are backing off. Um, let's take a look at temperatures, and uh, we'll see what the euro has to say for our temperatures. And again, uh, the euro it isn't what we base our temperatures on. The forecast wise, it's a blend of the models basically. And so, now we're into Tuesday, and actually, let me slow this down a little bit more for you there. So, we'll slide it up. So basically, what we're seeing is the moisture's outrunning the cold air at this point. As we get in, the next weekend, really don't see much on the euro as far as the super cold air. uh, which is a good thing. Now, as we get to the end of the loop there, on the 16th, the day after Valentine's Day weekend, we'll go back here and you can see that's when it looks like, it. Well, come here, you. Get over here. So uh, it looks like the super cold air may be delayed even further now, and that's always a good thing, um, because the later longer it takes, the better chances are that it may not happen as we're getting into spring now, or approaching spring. Although we're still in the middle of winter, albeit, uh, but I digress. Here we go. Um, you know, we've seen this in March before, so um, it's not although rare, it's not impossible to get some kind of super cold air down here as late as March. Will it happen this year? Who knows? We've had uh, three big hurricane strikes this year: uh, Laura, Delta, and Zeta. So, you know, with the weirdness of 2020, I would say anything's possible in 2021. Um, let's go ahead and go back to uh, GFS now, and uh, let that load up, and we'll slow the loop speed down. Now let's go down to the GFS, and let's see what the GFS says now versus the euro. So, we see no freezing, and now we're in the Monday, this coming Monday, the 8th, and we see some fairly warmer temperatures, actually above normal for this year. I see even some 70s there as we get into Wednesday, but that cold air intrusion is coming down. Now, how far is that trough going to dig? That's the big question. So now we're in the Thursday of next week, and it's basically holding its own, staying well north, and then we get towards the weekend, and now we're in the Friday. So this is where things get a little interesting. Now let's go back here. This is 03 on Saturday. So there's the 20s, 09. So Saturday morning, the GFS is significantly colder than the euro, and uh, again, even this far out, you still got to. I mean, we're 7 days out. So which model is the one that's believable? Well, neither at this point because they're not showing any consistency. And again, anything beyond 5 to 7 days, you really, all you can really do is just watch. And uh, what it does is basically tells you, hey, this could happen. Let's raise that awareness level a little bit. So, we're seeing some teens, some really cold air. Uh, at this point, we'll probably see a freeze, possibly. Will we see a hard freeze as depicted here? That's the big question. So, at this point, the moisture basically stays ahead of the super cold air. Uh, and again, that could change. We're in flip flop mode, people, and anything is possible at this point. I'm not going to say it's not going to happen, but then I'm not going to sit there and say that, oh yeah, we're going to get it. It's just that would be foolish, unwise, and illogical, as Spock would say. So uh, let's go ahead and advance this now. We get into Sunday, and we get a repeat on Sunday morning, on Valentine's morning, uh, low 20s, upper teens across the state. So, and with a freeze down here in New Orleans as well, reaching way down here to the coast. So, uh, could the GFS scenario play out? Possibly. Could the Euro play out? Possibly. I think it's going to be somewhere in between those two. Uh, which side of the spectrum, high or low side of the temperature spectrum, that's anybody's guess at this point. So, uh, again, I've got to continue to stress that. You know, nothing is out of the realm of possibility, but there's still very low confidence in the overall pattern. So just take it with a grain of salt at this point now. As we get into Sunday afternoon, we're still in the 30s, and then we get into Monday, and we see a return of the cold air. Although it's not a freeze, wake ups would be in the upper 20s to low 30s, still below freezing for much of the state. But the teens are out of here. So they've retreated back to the very northern sections of the state and into Arkansas there. Now, I showed you on future radar, no moisture to work with. It's all dry air. So, uh, now we're beyond 10, 14 days out, and we see look like a second possible blast of cold Arctic air, but nothing, significant, super hard freeze type scenario. So, more seasonal in nature. Uh, and there you have it. Um, then we got our next cold front coming down at the end of the time frame. Big time cold air once again ejecting down here. So you can see the clear demarcation line of that cold front coming down on Monday, February the 22nd. So, and again, that's way, way out there. We're talking, beyond 14 days. So, you know, again, who knows what's going to happen, but, the possibility is there that it may happen, uh, possibility that it may not happen. So, uncertainty is very high at this point. Uh, Everything is to be determined, TBD. Um, I wouldn't worry too much about it right now. We'll see what happens as we start getting into Monday and Tuesday. Uh, However, as I've said before, uh, you should be prepared. And hold on just a second here. Okay, so anyways, I'm back. Had a package come in. So with that, folks, you know, there you have it. Courtesy of Pivotal Weather here, looking at these maps, the model runs here. Uh, I finally broke down and bought a monthly subscription to these guys and women there. Uh, they put out some great data, and that little monthly subscription opens up some extra data as well, and uh, allows me to bring you some more extra stuff when needed. But uh, anyways, uh, you know, that's with the help of you guys as well. We appreciate it. All the donations, keep them coming. Still got uh, around $50 a month in monthly subscriptions that I have to take care of, and so uh, that help is greatly appreciated. And remember, you can always subscribe uh, on PayPal. It allows for a monthly recurring subscription, even if it's just $1 a month. That adds up. Um, you get 50 people donate $1 a month. Hey, that's cool. That basically takes care of you know nearly all of the monthly subscription software. So with that, we're going to close it, and we'll let you enjoy your Saturday, and we'll talk to you again tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Uh, we'll talk to you again tomorrow. See ya.